Yeah. Okay, we are recording. This is Michelle Hendrickson, and I'm so excited to be sharing a fun time with my gal pal, Miss Cheryl Adams. We love her. She's so fun. And yes, I am dressed in some kind of St. Patty looking whatnot because it is near the St. Patty Day, and you got to have all that. So anyway, without further ado, I want to hear a little more from Cheryl. So Cheryl, first of all, I'd love for you to tell everybody like what it is that you do besides Mary Kay, because I know you're just kind of busy.
Oh, awesome. And I love your festive outfit, Michelle. I love it, love it, love it. So my name is Cheryl Adams and I live in Lexington, Kentucky, and I have been working my business for 9 years in January. Became a director in 2020, December 2020, in the middle of COVID. So my background is I have two awesome daughters that are 30 and 33. And I have four amazing grandkids, three grandsons, 18, 13, and almost 7, and a beautiful 7-month-old granddaughter. So they keep me busy. I work part-time at a bank currently. My background is customer service, marketing, and some sales, but it's always been more like consultative sales. I've never I don't know. I've had a broad range of different sales backgrounds, but I've never really thought of myself as a salesperson. It's all more about the relationships. And
okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And I've used the product since I was introduced to the product when I was like 18 years old at a high school. Best friend in high school, her mom had a party, and I'm going to date myself if anybody knows about Mary Kay products, but we had to wet the brush and paint on our eyeshadow. So that was probably circa 1978, 80, something like that. So been using the products a long time and have loved them because I've always suffered from oily combination skin, and really Mary Kay was the only product that really worked for me.
Wow. Okay, so I want to unpack some of that. Y'all, okay, so just looking at her face, she cannot have grandchildren. Like, did y'all hear my eyes go? 18-year-old, a grandchild that's 18. Did she just say that? Like, look at her. Like, stick your face up in the camera. Everyone's going, there is not even a possibility of that happening. So that's number one. You know our product works. I'm like, number one, everyone needs to use everything because look at her face. GLAMma and look like that, then you need to be using all Mary Kay. Just telling you. So that's number one. Number two, okay, wow, sounds like you're super busy with part-time working in a bank, and banks is not exactly like banks are kind of like, it's a box. You get in the box and you do the box, right? And so not a lot, flexibility in that, and then you've got grandkids and kids and, everything else. Oh my word. So my thought is that, okay, you were introduced to the products when you were 18, but you didn't become a consultant until 9 years ago. What happened to make you become a consultant? Because you've clearly been using and loving this product. That's why you look like you're 22.
Well, I did have a previous stint. I don't talk about it too often, but it was a great time in my life. In 2003, I was, I think I was like newly divorced, but anyway, I had been using the product on and off. You have little kids at home and you have a little bit of extra money, and do you buy extra clothes for your kids, or are you going to buy skincare for yourself? So it was on again, off again, but I've always loved the products. And so in 2003, I had a girl that I worked with, and I'll just briefly cover it, but I just wanted to get it at a discount. So I was like, I'm going to be personal use. At that point in my life, I was newly divorced, and I was like, I might sell a little bit here and there to my friends and family. And if I can make a little bit of extra money, that'll be fine. So I did that and actually expanded out of my friends and family scope of influence, and started selling to friends and friends of friends. And I did that on and off, making maybe an extra $150, $200 a month for about 3 years. And then at that point, my kids, who were preteens at the time, about 3 years into it, it was just getting hard for me. I was being a taxi cab driver and doing all this other stuff, doing stuff at church, doing stuff for them at school. And so I stepped away from Mary Kay. But fast forward 2013, I was still using the products, and the person I was buying from stepped down, And in the meantime, I had been seeing on Facebook that my cousin Sheila, who I had never bought products from, she had promoted herself to director. And on the very last day in January of 2013, I picked up the phone and was like, I think I want to do what she's doing. She's promoting herself. She's got freedom, flexibility. She's getting to stay home with her kids. And at this point, my kids, fast forward to 2013, were adults. So, and I was dating somebody, and I didn't have a house anymore for tax benefits. So I didn't have the kids to write off for taxes. I didn't have a house to write off for taxes. So that was, the practical side of me. Michelle and I are very different. I'm very straightforward, looking at the facts and everything. So I just kind of did a little bit of research on my own. I don't even think I told Sheila I was interested. I just picked up the phone and said, send me an agreement. I'm going to sign up and I'm going to see what happens, but I think I want to do what you're doing. But I love the products. It's a consumable product. I love the repeat business of it. And because I had done it back in 2003, it's not like it was going to be completely new, but I had a different why this time.
Absolutely. I love that because you there's so many different reasons that you just shared that you can be in your Mary Kay for, all different reasons, just for the discount. That's smart. Hello, smart, duh, that's the best part about it. Use two things, it all and get it at half price. Duh, everybody should be doing that, period, in the story. But then, you built it a bit and then your life changed. So it's like, I love that it just kind of wove around and was what you needed it to be. Like, as Mary Kay says, it just fits. Like, it just fit what you were looking for at the time. And all of your experience in dealing and working with people. That's amazing to me. So my next question would be, okay, now it sounds like, because you were like, well, I don't really talk about the, when I started before or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I think you totally should. It's great. It sounds like it was all just a walk in the park and everything was like, fantabulously simple. Just because it sounds like, oh, it just all worked out for her, So if a person was struggling, they might think, well, I probably just am lame if I'm struggling with this.
Yeah.
So tell us a little more about that.
Well, even both times, whether it was the first time or the second time, it was far from, easy peasy, super easy. We always say Mary Kay's not hard, but you do have to do the work. We will tell you what you have to do, but are there going to be times when somebody's not going to show up? Yes. And I think the biggest reservation is not taking this business personally and not getting it in your head. It's like, stuff happens, life happens with people. If they say no to you, it's not, you're not going to die, your head's not going to be chopped off. But learning just to, bounce back from some of the disappointments. And, I've gone to events where, there were 25 people there and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome. And I talked to every single person and I did everything that Mary Kay, taught us to do, looking them in the eye, making them feel important. And I met 25 fabulous women, but I sold zero. It happens. Now down the road, because of that relationship, did things happen? Yes, but I think just realizing, I never go into an appointment or when I meet somebody, I just want to bless them with this business. I just want them to feel loved. I want them to feel pampered. I want them to feel good. And if I sell something along the way, that's fine. But to me, the sale is not what it's all about. It's about building that relationship. And I truly believe that Mary Kay can be a ministry. So I don't really know if I answered the question the right way, but I think just not, the headspace has probably been the biggest challenge that I faced. And I hear that a lot from other people, but that's where a lot of the Mary Kay training is remarkable. We talk about emotional management, financial management, how to talk to people, just everything. And that's what I love about this business.
Okay, so there wasn't like a right answer or a wrong answer. It's any answer. So there's not like a checklist which you get an A or a B or a D. This is like all the answers are right because they're your answers. And personally, I think that's exactly what happens. You might get disappointed, and that's how are you going to manage that? And to me, the personal growth that I know I've received has been huge. And so, just what you said, yeah, we can be disappointed, but we also learn how to get over that. And I don't know about
Mhm.
you, but to me, I mean, life is disappointing. You don't have to be Mary Kay to get disappointed, like, right? But I just wish that life,
Right.
they don't exactly teach you how to handle disappointment. So to me, this is the perfect university for that. So I say that's
Yeah.
good. So I would say, so the next question would be, okay, because you did talk about some things that weren't as fabulous. What would be, is there anything that might have held you back from being a part of Mary Kay, or, anything like that at all in your career? Or, have you ever just wanted to just stuff the washcloth in their mouth and tell God they died and walk out the door?
Well, the first thing was, really trying to figure out how to make it work. And, the beauty of this business is you can work it part time, you can work it full time. And there was a very long period in my life, in Mary Kay, where I was working a full time job and, putting in so many hours at the church, plus, with my kids' schooling and things like that. And my boyfriend and I are very social, so we're involved in lots of different clubs and things like that. So trying to figure out how to, fit it all in has always um, not been a challenge, but I think it's always been kind of a reservation as far as, how do I really want to do this? How much money do I want to be making? How much time do I need to put into it? And the funny thing is when you start looking at your calendar, yes, there's a lot of hours in the day that you might be doing a lot, but when you actually sit down and look at it, you will find little pockets here and there. And you have the freedom and flexibility to sprinkle this business into your lifestyle, whether it's, working on your lunch hour, making calls, but you have to be intentional. That's what I would say. If you want to be successful, you have to be intentional as far as making the time, no matter what time that is, whether it's an hour a week, 3 hours a week, 5 hours a week, you decide, but then being consistent and being, intentional about it. And believe me, I've not been perfect at that either. But when you do, it can be a game changer.
Okay, I love that. I thank you for being so real, because you're right. I mean, and everybody knows people who work full time to have this, how would I fit it in? It is true. The strategy of sprinkling it in, it's like, it looks like my glass of Coca-Cola. It's almost empty, right? But, it did have a bunch of ice cubes in it because I like ice, and that would be the boulders of my life. And then you pour the Coke. Well, it's Diet Coke, people. It's diet. You pour a little bit of that in there, and then it, looks like the glass is full, but the Coke still got in there, right? So it just kind of, you sift around. So I mean, I think that's a really good analogy, with it, just
Hmm.
sprinkling it in, and making it happen. I
Yes.
think that's awesome. And I think that's so good to point out, that you, in different times of your life, you have different decisions that you want to make based on what's important to you.
Hmm.
And there's no judgment either way. You get to pick. It's your job. So
Right.
that's awesome. Okay, well, so Cheryl, so I do have to ask, what is it that you think might, for people who are listening back in, or anyone listening right now, what is it that makes you say, to others, this is the best opportunity, like right now for women? Like, why would you say, people, you guys need to sign up? This is amazing. What about a Mary Kay right now makes you say that? Is there anything happening, that you feel like is super important?
Well, I think now more than ever, it is probably the best time to be in a small business for yourself or be in Mary Kay or direct sales. The pandemic was, to be honest, it was a big challenge for me. And probably the first 3 to 5 months, I kind of sort of shut down because I was like, I don't do Skype. I don't do Zoom. I mean, I was doing a FaceTime facial every once in a while. And so it was a challenge for me. It was definitely outside of my comfort zone. But then I was seeing all these other girls that were rocking it on the virtual and Zoom, and some of them were seasoned reps, and some of them were brand spanking new. But I knew I had to get on that train if I really wanted to stay afloat with this business and really take it to the next level. And so the why now is so important is because we have two ways to do this business. We can do it virtually, we can do it in person, and you can do a hybrid of both. You can do face parties, and you can do a face party and do some lives, and then you can do some stuff in person and do a live on Facebook. There's just so many different ways to work this business. And I know so many people that are so successful. And I think some of them are on here that are, rocking it out in sales, and they're doing it all virtually. I am so glad personally to be back in around the kitchen table again with people, because that's just where I feel the love. But I'm able to do that. So I'm still not going to say no to virtual stuff as well. I just scheduled a Facebook party during our booking blitz. So I love, love, love that you can do it both ways. And that just opens up so many opportunities.
I love that you said how it opens opportunities, because anybody who is a little bit nervous about virtual things, I know that I was, I jumped into it and I felt like I was an idiot the whole time. But so far I sold a bunch of stuff and everybody laughed. So that was good. So,
well, and I don't think you have to be perfect. I mean, if you're in person, I mean, we have this awesome, amazing flip chart. And 9 years ago, it was a teeny tiny little flip chart, but I sat there and, read right off of it and just said, hey, can I borrow your face and just practice in front of you? And, it's like, I think people realize when they're on the other end, it's like, oh, I don't have to know everything to do this business. And that's the other thing. I think that's kind of a misperception is, oh, I have to know everything about every single product and exactly what I'm supposed to say in order to do this and get going. You just got to get going is all I'm going to say.
I totally agree with you on that. And I thought it'd be cool if I could screen share and have this on the recording too.
Sure.
So that's one startup that Cheryl was talking about, which is the $30 e-start. And that's the one that's totally virtual. We still have that option, but it's for a short time. So you want to take advantage of it. And that gets you the website and then the ability to process debit and credit cards and then drop ship to your customers. So you just got to get started. So that's that. If you're the person who's like me and I liked having, a kit, like me and Cheryl, we're old school, we're used to that, where you can see on the flyer that this allows you to have the website and then the credit card processing, but also you get full-size products so that you can actually showcase things if you would like. And it has the flip chart, the thing she's talking about to teach you what to do. It's in there. So if you're not a klutz like I am and you don't knock things over, then you might love this. I just did a party today and I specifically didn't pull the flip chart out because I tend to knock over everything. And I told the people that if they wanted to see the pretty pictures and the words, that they could look at it themselves and I would set it to the side. And they were like, no problem. So that's because I knew I was going to knock over all the waters and everything. So anyway, that's the other kit. And then the other fun option that you have available, let me just click on that, I think is this one. Yes, this is the sample pack. And this is another great thing that Mary Kat is going on for a limited time, where you can actually it's basically enough samples to sample 30 people, give them a facial virtually or in person, however you want to do it, but it's a great value for this pack. So those are some of the benefits that, as Cheryl was mentioning, this is what the company materials are that go with that. So anyway, so should you guys be interested, when you're watching back, tell your consultant. So the choices are, what you think if you're an A, is, okay, I am all in, I totally could do that. And I need it for whatever your reason is. That's an A. And then a B would be, okay, it sounds great. Bribe me with something else. I may need to know a little more. And then a C would be, okay, this is, I love knowing more about this company. I think it's incredible. And Cheryl's story is totally inspiring, but I'm going to be a cool customer. I'll be happy to host something and get some free products. That'd be a C customer. And then a D is, oh, my Lanta, I would just rather eat dirt down on the side of the road than be doing y'all's Mary Kay cake. That would be a D. And that sounds so terrible. You don't want to pick D. So you want to let your consultant know if you're an A, B, C, or D, just from the information that we presented. And of course, I'm sure she's so grateful that you wanted to take a listen to what we have to share. So, so thank you again, Cheryl, for your wonderful, wonderful story. You did so good.
Well, thank you.
All right, I'm gonna turn the recording off.